Social media apps are not social apps, they are media apps.
I already have your passport.
This is so fucked up. Everything now is making sense.
I am still in shock of what happened. You might have noticed that I have been kind of quiet and I didn't upload anything in a bit. And the reason why I was recovering mentally and emotionally, I'm trying as much as possible in this video to tell you what happened as if you're living it with me in real time. So buckle up, you're about to watch a wild story.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you very much.
This is the view from a plane that is about to land in Mexico. I was filming behind the window while filled with excitement for the adventure that is about to happen. How did we end up on a plane going to Mexico? Let's do a quick recap of what happened in the previous episodes. Earlier this year, I decided to quit my job and start my own company, Tribble. Tribble's mission is to connect humans, genuinely, and provide humans with a tool that will enable them to find community, other like-minded individuals, and events nearby so that they can find love and belonging and tackle the loneliness epidemic. By the end of February, I got connected with the co-founders of something called Creator Camp, Chris, Ryan, and Max. They had an upcoming 3-day camp for creators, and I thought it would be perfect opportunity to present the app for them. And I saw a potential partnership with them if they would use the app in order for them to connect their community and beyond that, connect the whole world through Creator Camp. So I got super excited when Chris told me that there is a potential partnership between Tribble and Creator Camp. There was a challenge though. I had to act fast because the camp was just 1 month away. I managed to convince 2 of my friends to join me on building the first version of Tribble, Elijah and Yash, whom I introduced in a previous episode. I decided to take a break from the road and get an apartment so that I am more stable and be able to have more hours of coding. While looking for apartments on Facebook, I came across a memory that was 12 years old. I must go away to make my dreams come true, ... Mexico. I was a 15-year-old kid still back in Egypt when I wrote this. I tried looking for any explanation online, whether it was a quote in a book or something in a movie, but I couldn't find anything. So I took it as a sign. Maybe I should go to Mexico and make my dreams come true. So I booked my flight and this is the flight. First ever going through customs without any problems and getting a stamp on my Egyptian passport. I'm happy. This was the first flight I took out of the US in 3 years. So I was super excited, to be honest with you. I felt like I was living the dream and I had a clear mission. But I didn't know anything about Mexico. And when I asked some of my friends who went before, where should I go, they suggested Tulum. But I had no idea what I was signing up for. I arrived in Cancun and I took a bus to Tulum. When I finally arrived at the spot I was staying at for a month, I found the gate was closed. It was nighttime and I was so tired, so I did what any reasonable human being would do.
So there's nobody to let me in, but I'm thinking about sneaking in through this shit. Let's try.
I placed my suitcase in a hidden spot so I can retrieve it in the morning, and I just went for it.
Okay, I'm in. This is crazy.
Funny enough, it turned out that I didn't have to do that. This gate was for staff. If I just walked 2 more minutes, I would have found the entrance open, and there was no gate.
Success. We made it.
The next day, I started working on the app almost for the whole day. I made some good progress and Yash already had added the authentication, so we had the first 2 pages of the app already done. Then around 11 p.m., I was on my way back to my room, feeling tired and ready to go to bed when I ran into a cute Spanish girl.
Hello there.
And she invited me to come to party with her right now. The conversation went something like this. You gotta come party with me right now. I was just about to brush my teeth and go to bed actually. No, everybody is already there. You got to come, it will be so much fun, you're gonna miss out if you don't show up. So Haitham was now presented with 2 choices. I thought, well, I worked hard for the whole day, and to be frank, I don't know anybody here. What would a little party do? Just a little reward for my hard work of the day. I finally said, okay, I'm coming, I'll change real quick and I'll meet you outside. I know. Probably all the Stoic philosophers, if they were witnessing this, would have rolled their eyes in disappointment at my lack of self-discipline, or perhaps they would have applauded me for my curiosity. And we walked to that party. And to be honest with you, I have never ever seen anything like that before. It was packed with people that were actually having fun. And they were approachable and you could dance. So I ended up connecting with so many different people and I danced my ass off until 2 a.m. The people I met in the party invited me to another party next day. I went to that party and then the people that I met there invited me to another party next day. I kept on getting invited from one party to another until suddenly I found myself in a mansion of a millionaire that was hosting a huge party. I thought that's it. I'm gonna find my investor in this room. There are a bunch of rich people. They like having fun. Trivial is gonna be fun. Let's just pitch Trivial. So I started pitching left and right, and I ended up booking a couple of meetings with some of those investors, and I met them in the morning.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is I love...
Social media apps are not social apps. They are media apps using your attention for monetary gains. And this is what we're trying to change. Bringing people together in person. Finding your communities and tribes anywhere. I was excited at first, but then I realized these conversations were getting me nowhere because everybody I talked to wanted to see a prototype or an MVP of the product before they invested anything. After the 5th or 6th day of doing this, I decided that I'm gonna stop, and I isolated myself and I just started coding on the app as much as I can. And I found a co-working spot and somehow convinced the owner to give me a key so that I can stay after they close and work as much as I want. I called Yash and Elijah and I updated them of what's going on.
It is a big learning curve. We're figuring things out together.
And I scheduled a meeting with Chris, so I know that I have a deadline and I have to get progress done before I meet him. I was really excited because I wanted to show Chris all the progress that has been made in this short amount of time. But things didn't go as planned.
We're not too focused right now on building out software or what that looks like for us yet. We're just so busy with what's in front of us right now that we haven't had time to think about these things. In the future, we want to have some sort of app or some sort of way for our community to connect with each other. It's not ultimately my decision, and there's just other things that are happening out of my control. So definitely at a third event, when we have more preparation, because we had confirmed and finalized our guest list maybe 2 months ago.
We'll have a much better app by then.
When Chris and I finally had our call, he told me that we're not going to be able to partner together for this upcoming camp because the team thinks it's pretty rushed and they were fully booked and they didn't have an extra room for me to join them. And I understood. I didn't want to be too pushy. But to be honest with you, I couldn't really sleep that night. I was feeling a bit disheartened because I was super excited about that potential collaboration with them, and it gave me that sense of urgency and that goal with a deadline, There was so much in my mind, and I was stumbling in bed until 2 a.m. in the morning when suddenly someone knocked on my door. I was pretty sure someone just made a mistake and mixed up the room numbers, so I just got out of bed since I was already awake, said, "Hey man, this is not the right room," and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry man, we're your neighbors next door and we're having a little party if you would like to come and meet the people here." So I was like, sure. He introduced himself to me as Andreas, and there I met his childhood friend Luigi, and I met someone else. I'm going to refer to him as JB. Andreas and Luigi were both from Mexico, but JB was actually living in Miami. And when I told them that I was from Egypt, I remember JP saying, "I have dreamed that I'm gonna meet an Egyptian." He was actually very serious about it. And he said, "We're here for a reason. We're supposed to meet. What are you actually trying to do here?" And I told him, "I'm trying to build an application to connect people." When I told him this, he said, "I have to introduce you to someone called Mario. He's an investor and I think he would like your project and maybe he would invest in it." I said, "Yes, for sure. Please connect me to that person." And it's funny because there was a Mario and Luigi. After that, I went back to my room and I went to bed, and in the morning, I called Yash, I called Elijah, I told them what happened. I told them that the creator camp thing is not going to happen anymore. Yash was in India and he had a family emergency. Elijah had more workload during this time in his job. So I told them we don't have an urgent deadline as I thought we did. Be in the present moment. I'm gonna spend the rest of the month here in Mexico, and then once I'm back in the States, we can discuss how we can collaborate. But low-key, I could feel that things were getting shaky. And at this point in the trip, I was really confused because at the beginning of the trip, I thought that I had my 2 co-founders, I thought that I had my first customer and potential partner, and I thought that Mexico is the land where I'm going to achieve my dreams. But it seemed like none of these things are true. I felt as if I was getting pushed by life to slow down. My computer stopped working for a bit due to some rain damage, and one night while I was driving to an event on my scooter, I ended up having an accident. And I thought that I might have made a mistake coming to Mexico. But then, things took a wild turn. Got a text from JB, and he told me about a dinner that I should come to. So I showed up to this dinner. I arrived a little bit late. People were already eating. I talked a little bit to the people that were around me, and when it was time to pay, I pulled my card about to pay, and then someone said someone took care of it. And mind you, we were like maybe 12 people sitting, so I thought this is pretty expensive, but they said, no, don't worry about it. Mario got it. So I was like, oh, that Mario, that's the guy that JB wanted me to connect with. So I went to him and the conversation went something like, where are you from? I said, I'm from Egypt. He said, I'm from Austria. I always wanted to go to Egypt. I said, I can't go to Egypt because I deserted my military service. He said, oh, I also left my military service. And we bonded over this and nothing else. At that time, I started running into Mario more often. It turned out that he's living in the same apartment complex that I was living in, and I started getting invited to his apartment and spending more time there, meditating together, and things were going really well between us. Oh, looking good.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Tulum.
Yeah, so we're documenting the story by just
Making a meditation.
Yes.
So we are making a meditation to go inside yourself, inside ourselves, and healing our inner child. That's what we are doing, because if we cannot shut down our brain, we will never be successful in life. So that's why we are doing meditation, because it's the key for success and the key for happiness. And after, we will make the business.
I was bonding with him, and he told me the story of how he made the money that he made. He said that he bought a lot of bitcoins early on, and they took off, and he sold some of them, and he kept the rest.
These people were in my life to create me and help me to make the money and create me to the person I am right now. Now the people are in my life who help me to find myself back real. Because in business I was a different person, right? I was hard. So if you will come just 5 minutes late to the appointment, I stand up and go. I don't even care. Because it's a respect of myself, and this confidence, when you give that to the people, bam, you will see it will change. They will run after you. I didn't need to ask for investments. No, they asked me. They asked me.
I remember one time we were standing in his balcony and we started discussing what he wants to do in his life, and he told me that he wanted to build a healing foundation. He loved someone, and this person passed away in the hospital due to an error in a medical procedure. And since then, he wanted to build a different type of a hospital or a healing foundation where you could heal humans, and next to it there's like a healing center for animals. I recall when he was telling me this story, he said, I'm getting goosebumps. We were supposed to meet. And I know people say these things all the time. We're supposed to meet, things happen for a reason. But I was under that impression because of that memory that I read that Mexico is the land where I'm going to achieve my dreams. So I thought maybe this is the person that I'm supposed to meet there. Maybe this is the story that has to happen here. So I told him what I was trying to build, the whole vision of the application and how maybe we could partner together. And to my surprise and excitement at the time, he said he would be interested in investing in my company. He said we can hash out the details later, but let's keep the conversation going. On another day, we met in the morning, we meditated together, and he said that he has around $350,000 that he's willing to invest in the company. So I thought if he takes a 5% stake in my company, and I get the $350,000, I could start having payroll, I could start hiring some people, expanding the team, and having him by my side as one of the leading investors. And around that time, someone comes from the US that Mario says he's his partner. His name was Joshua Koch. The first interactions with him were not that smooth, and when he told me he's his partner, I started having some weird vibes. When I Googled him, there was a very weird website that was talking about how Joshua is a scammer and a psychopath, and he scammed someone out of his life savings. I was like, whoa. Let's take a step back. I asked Mario about this. I saw like a fraud alert on this guy, but when I confronted him, why are you working with Josh if he isn't trustworthy? And he said, no, Josh can explain it to you. The way Mario responded sounded very honest, sounded very genuine. He said, I think this is a problem that happened between one of the business partners that Josh had, and I would rather that you have this conversation with Josh himself. When you hear the story, you're gonna laugh about it. I did ask Josh about it, and he told me he was working with someone. They both got scammed. When he tried to explain to him what happened, he thought that he scammed him. So he made this blog post about it. And the website, actually, I'm gonna link it. It's a very weird website. The person who made it is definitely having a psychotic breakdown of some kind. I started trusting again, but I was also skeptical. But I didn't really disclose them because everything with Mario was going really well. And he's paying for dinners, and he gave me the keys for his car. He hosted me and our friend group in a villa. I felt as if we're having a tribe. Finally, I started feeling love and belonging after that long of not feeling as if I have brotherhood or a community.
Take two! Thank you.
Whoa! So what are we about to do right now, Donna? Can you explain to us what's going on?
We're about to have family brunch on Sunday, April the 2nd, 2023.
Okay, can you introduce the other members of the family?
Of course. Today in the house we have Pablito,
Pablito?
Mario, Karina. We've got Kat, Katerina. Over here, our chef and gym instructor. And behind the camera, we have Tyson.
This is the beginning of my TED Talk. I've been waiting for this my whole life. Okay, what we have tonight, guys, this is vegan salad. My favorite part, this is a traditional Moldovan dessert. It's basically pancakes with banana and a special topping. Okay, enjoy. Thank you.
Who's here? Who's here? Ooh. I felt as if these people that I'm eating with, living with, happy birthday! Celebrating birthdays with, I felt as if we were becoming some sort of a family. Anyways, we kept on discussing that potential $350,000 investment, and one day he asked me, so after you quit your job, how are you making money? And I told him I'm not actually making any money. I'm just running off of my savings for now. So he told me, suggested that idea, that he could help me with a private lending program. And he explained it to me that he has access to a bank in Europe where they have a private lending program. You put the money in that bank and you get monthly dividends. The numbers were very, very lucrative. For example, he said, if you invest $100,000, you can get $10,000 monthly. When I heard this at first, I thought this is bullshit. There is no way you can get 10%. People do not even get 10% annually. I go on ChatGPT because it was the new thing at that time. I ask, is it possible that there are a private lending program that can get a 10% fixed return? ChatGPT said yes. I googled it a little bit, and the information that were available on that private lending program made it seem very private and very mysterious. So I thought maybe because he's super rich, he's able to access these things. And he told me that the only way to invest in this private lending program is you have to have at least $100,000 investment. And he told me that he has helped other people here with money in order for them to enter that program. And I asked those people, and they told me that they were receiving the dividends. I remember I called JB and I said, hey, is this private lending program legit? And he said, yes, everybody that has worked with Mario has received their money back. I haven't heard anything bad from him. And I started asking my mentors, and they were also skeptical. Some voice in my head is telling me, this is not a good idea, Haytham. Be careful. And the other voice is saying, this guy has showed me so much kindness, and there is brotherhood, there is camaraderie. Why would he try to hurt me? It seems like everybody is getting the money back, and I might be a little bit skeptical and paranoid for no reason. And I saw people receiving the money in front of my eyes. At that point, I was like, there's no way this person is orchestrating all of these things. He can't be lying for 6 months. You know, I have all this downloaded information from the billionaires talking about how you have to take big risks and stuff.
The final thing I would encourage you to do is, now is the time to take risk. Do something bold. You won't regret it.
Towards the end of my time in Mexico, and after many experiences where I tried to test Mario in terms of trust, I started to believe that he's actually telling me the truth. I told him, okay, if you can provide me with $350,000 as an investment for Tribble, and I can put my personal savings in that private lending program, now I can have some money, dividends for myself. I can live off of that money. I don't have to be rushing. And he said, okay, I'm gonna come back to you after I talk to my lawyers. A couple of days pass, and then he gives me this document. So I start gathering the money. I had to withdraw all the money that I had in my 401k. I had to sell some stock, had to gather that $100,000. And I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought that I'm taking the risk. I thought that I'm seizing the opportunity. I'm making the biggest financial decision I have ever made in my whole life. I'm about to wire money to someone, all my savings. And that's so crazy to me. I hope I'm not getting scammed. Okay, we're about to make a big agreement right now.
I'm using the election with all the clients who have less than 1 million.
Okay, so you already signed.
Yeah.
Okay. Today is the 28th. This is all the amount I have. I'm just gonna send 91 so I don't like run out of money.
You can send 90 straight and send the 10.
Okay, then okay, sounds perfect.
Because I can. It's easier for me then.
Yeah. 534. Mario, I'm so scared.
About
116. This whole thing.
It's normal, but you will see after 45 days you will relax.
Okay.
If you want to have more in your life, you need to get a relation to your money differently.
Yep, that's definitely. So, girl.
All right. So today is the day, April 7th, 2023, and
We are about to do something very significant right now. Starting a long journey.
That's the life. He's hiding his life over me. Perfect.
long journey to do something great and hopefully make an impact.
Starting
on the
a
world.
great business relationship.
So yeah, this is a day to document. Let's go.
After I wired the money, I got a bit scared. But the fact that nothing has changed between me and Mario, and we still were friends, and we ended up traveling together right after and going to Holbush, which is an island next to Tulum, made me more confident that I made the right decision.
We are at the parking spot for Holbush. We're just gonna check it out.
Not get kidnapped in the process.
This is the only moment we're gonna be able to capture today because my car.
Is this a photo or a video?
Jump, bro.
We have a very good video actually, I'll
That
send
was
it
one
to
of
you
the
guys,
most amazing
like
things
from the
I've ever
birthday.
That was the Joker.
And until the last moment in my time in Mexico, everything was going really well. I said goodbye to Mario, to Donna, to Corina, to all the family.
Okay, I guess this is it. Our time in Tulum is coming to an end.
I went back to the US, and me and Mario were still talking almost daily, discussing business details, discussing how we can take Tribble forward, discussing the investment opportunities.
It should be the last point of the healing foundation. So I have implemented retreat, children's education, animal rescue. My 30, I have to finish some paperwork because now my new company in Switzerland is finalized. It's good, I'm working, I'm happy, but I'm really busy. Look, I let my car charging in the meantime. Actually, it's more than enough for the whole foundation, to be honest, because I calculate even if I just take a 50 million for myself to save it for myself and for my own and for my kid and for my life, and the rest I have is still more than enough to make everything happen.
I was feeling more and more confident right now. This is not a dream. I told Elijah, soon you'll be able to quit your job and we're going to be doing this full time. I ended up interviewing and recruiting some team members. We're making progress on the AI and the machine learning side. The Figmas are getting finalized. I felt as if nothing can stop me from making this thing a reality right now. Donna and I stayed close. We were talking a lot. She invited me to her birthday in Jordan. And Mario said it would be a good idea to go to Jordan next month and it would be nice to give me the money of the first payment in person and we can celebrate all together. And coincidentally, it was the month of Ramadan and my uncle has been telling me to come and meet him in Saudi and spend the last 10 days of Ramadan with him and my aunt. And I haven't seen them in 5 years. And everything is looking good right now, so maybe I spend some time with my family and I can work remotely from Saudi and then attend Donna's birthday in Jordan. So that's what happened. I ended up flying to Saudi. I met my uncle and met my aunt, and then afterwards I ended up flying to Turkey and I recruited a friend of mine to become a back-end engineer in my team. Mario told me that he's going to be coming and meeting me in Turkey, then we go to Jordan together, but he ended up not following through with his word and he said that he has to take care of his kid, so he can't make it to this leg of the trip, but he's going to meet me in Jordan. And he started suggesting that we spend some time in Europe and have a base where all of us are living together and have the HQ in Europe.
That's why I like the idea. That's why I liked the idea to be together, to spend 3 weeks in a villa together and stay there and work.
So I ended up booking some tickets to Europe and I started applying for Belgian visa. I was spending a lot of money on all this international travel, but financially I thought that I didn't have to worry about money because I already have the investment until I received a call from Luigi when I was in Turkey.
Hey man, how's everything going on, bro?
I'm pretty good. Life has been blessings.
Where are you right now? Are you back in Egypt or?
I am in Turkey. I can't visit Egypt right now because of the military.
You know, I had a talk with him like a week and a half ago. After that, we've been texting each other. We've been arranging calls, but then he moves it, postpones the call. I told him that I needed the money because it is what it is, right? I have to use it for other things and I'm like buying pieces of land and all that. So he told me he was going to give me back all the
principal, what you give him basically?
What I gave him, and he told me 2 months of return on investment. He was supposed to give me the money on the 14th or 15th, but he told me that he had some problems with a Russian client and all his accounts were frozen. He couldn't even use his crypto accounts. Now everything is solved. That's what he's saying. I don't know if it's true or not. And yeah, man, I'm just waiting for him to send me back the money. I don't know if he's lying or he made everything up or he actually has that system with the bank. You're waiting for your return on the 15th of May or 14th, 15th of May?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Hopefully he gives you something. I don't like how he postponed things and he doesn't give all the clarity. And in your case, it's like 4 times more than.
Yeah. Whenever you get your payment, just tell me so that I can have more peace, you know? I got scared. Something fishy is going on. So I confronted Mario and I asked him why didn't Luigi receive his payment yet until now. And he told me that Luigi invested in a different program that is separate from mine. He guaranteed me that my case is different and my payment is going to be received on time. Then I flew to Jordan and I met Donna and Mario there.
See you, man! I was fucking dreamed, dude. It's a very nice building, actually.
And he gave me the money for the first payment, so I received the money, and I told Luigi, don't worry, you're going to receive your money, and we still felt like a family.
And my mom, you have to see how she pours the tea, because it's going to be like, you know, she pours it until it spills over a little bit. Otherwise, she says, I'm not gonna drink it. What is this?
It's really cute.
That's my mom. Bye, Mario.
The Teletubbies, you know?
Not live without you?
Yeah. Love you, brother. Yes. I love you. Take care.
I ended up flying to the US again, and I want to dive into coding, so I booked an Airbnb in Joshua Tree on my own in order for me to work and focus. Okay, I guess I'm about to release this thing to the internet, and I hope it breaks it. Let's go. By the time I arrived in the US and I got to the spot in Joshua Tree, Luigi was calling me again. He's no longer suspecting whether Mario is going to pay him or not. He's certain that Mario has scammed us, and that Mario has been operating a Ponzi scheme, and we're not going to be receiving the money from him anymore. My heart dropped, and he told me that there is someone else in our group that invested with him earlier, and until now, 6 months later, she hasn't received her money. I was surprised about this person because JB guaranteed that everybody was receiving their money, and when he called the people that invested before me, they told him that everything was good. I called around again, I was able to reach that person, and she confirmed that she hadn't received her money yet.
Hey Lana, yes, I am building a website about the case, and I am trying to gather the details about how much money he scammed people. 2 things are important. First, no human should Google Mario and trust him after that. To be honest with you, I trusted this man with all my money. Not just an investment that I made that was extra money, I trusted him with everything that I had. I can't believe that a man that I trusted and I hugged and thought he's my brother can do this to me. So, it's personal. If he sent you any documents, if he sent you any stuff, we were working with a fraud analyst. Every time he sent a document that is not real, it supports our case, it's evidence that he's committing fraud. And this is really important. So she trusted in him so much that she didn't even sign a contract with him. Because Ilana's dream was to build that healing foundation. This is what she wanted to do. She wanted to heal animals. And apparently, that healing foundation dream with the animal healing center, he stole the idea from her. So I ended up hiring a fraud analyst, and I talked to a friend of mine who has a lot of expertise in the financial sector. And both of them, when they looked at the document, they came to the same conclusion. This cannot be a real program. Mario has faked those documents, and we have been scammed by a professional con artist.
This guy is schizophrenic because he lies and he's believing by himself what he lies. You understand?
The document that he sent about his crypto wallets and the 9,000 Bitcoin that he had was fake. All the bank statements that he sent when we checked with the bank turned out to have fictitious transaction IDs that never happened from that bank. The fraud analyst was able to provide me with evidence that Joshua Kush was actually involved in this operation, and they are both fraudsters. He was using the name of the Kush family, a wealthy family in the US that has billions of dollars, but the reality is he's not related to that family. I went back in my memory checking everything in my mind. I was still in shock. I called Mario. He responded and he said that these things are true, that he didn't lie to me, that the money is coming. But the conclusions of these 2 experts and the fact that people didn't receive their payments made it clear that Mario is just chronically lying. I threatened to expose Mario and Joshua. I told them that I'm going to be creating a website to expose them and make sure that nobody else falls for their scam, and I got threatened.
Like, you have everything prepared and coded? I already called. I already have your passport. I already know your family. I already know your dad's no longer with us. May he rest in peace. I know your brother, your sister, everybody in Egypt. I know where you are now, and I know that you are a deserter, and that if you fuck around, you will be deported by Interpol. This is all stuff that I know. It's not. No, these aren't threats. These are all things that I have found out. Bro, I'm talking about America. You're in America, and you're gonna try to fucking do some shit to an American that is a victim. That is a threat. I'm not a victim. I'm an orchestrator. Well, then I will. Then let's see what comes out on that site, and then watch what happens to you. Watch what happens.
Until today, Mario is saying that he's going to pay me back, that he ended up getting scammed himself, that he lost the money, that he doesn't have it. And to be honest, I do not know the exact truth, but I can tell you that he has been lying.
I did a mistake, and it turned out in a very, very, very bad way for myself. So I did almost everything possible in the last 24 hours with Walter together to fix and secure the money, that nothing get lost, that nothing is in a problem. I didn't lie to you. I lied to you once. Yes, I promised you by Wednesday you have the money, and you didn't have it. Yes, I lied to you because I couldn't change it, the situation. If you believe me or not, I could not change it. My heart is burning a lot, and I will provide you every information and every statement within the next days, but you get it officially. You tell me I send you fake documents, and I want to prove you that I'm not this kind of a guy, because why? What the fuck? Why? I prayed with you, and I will never forget that. So that's why I'm doing my fucking best to fix the situation. But I can handle it. I did the mistake, and I set 100% responsibility for my words, and told them there's 3 watches with wealth of $700,000. Please take it. Take it and just give me 400,000, because I want to refund everybody the double of the money, because it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't my intention. My intention was to double their money and making them and helping them growing in business.
And throughout all of this, he knew that he has already stolen my money. I was hugging him as my brother from my heart, and he was just plotting how to stab me from the back. I felt betrayal, that everything came crashing on my head. I was looking for more information, and I ended up connecting with someone that knew Mario for a very long time. His story shocked me even more.
You have to understand, just for fun he destroyed my life. Just for fun. Lying and lying and lying, you know. And he promised me, yes, you get the money, and so on and so on. He bring me in a really, really bad situation. And I don't talk about 20,000. I talk about 500,000 euros. And in the week, you know, in the last week of the life for my daughter, you know, she was very sick with a cancer, a bad cancer. I was calling him, Mario, you promised me I get the money this week. I go now to the doctors, I have no money. What he have done is, you know, normally you don't have words for that. And I know it right now, he had the money. He was eating the best, he will have a store for his wife, he will have an expensive car, he have a lifestyle, a crazy lifestyle. He make party every day. This was his lifestyle. This is why he lost millions of euros. So you have to understand, this is not a normal guy, this is the devil.
I was realizing this while I was alone at Joshua Tree.
I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I fucking don't know what to say. I can't believe it. I can't believe that this is so fucked up. Everything now is making sense. He was a con artist. And I fell for it. And he used brotherhood and my trust to scam me and scam so many other people. And I told him that this is my life savings. And I shook his hand on it. I told him, do you promise nothing's gonna happen? He's like, I promise you, brother. He shook my hand. I was too eager. I thought that it's time, life is giving me a break. I worked really hard for this moment, and now my dreams are becoming true. And I fell under
The spell.
It have to be finished with that. I don't like that he destroy another lives, you know.
He should go to prison for all the crimes that he has committed. And some people would think, oh man, you're so stupid. How come you fell for this? I hope I'm not getting scammed. It's easy to say that from now on I don't trust anybody and choose that route. This experience is going to be a shaping factor in this journey. It makes everything more difficult on a survival level now. I really don't know where to live now. I have about $200 in my bank account. The reality of the situation right now is he defrauded me for $120,000, he defrauded Luigi for $30,000, Andres for $20,000, Lana for $20,000, and more people for more money. Probably the reason why he acted so friendly with me and paid me the money back in Jordan in front of Donna and her mom is because he wanted to lure Donna and her mom to invest money. We were just targets. I remembered a friend of mine from high school. His name is Amr Hussam. He came to me after school one day and he gifted me a book. He told me that the main character of this book reminds him of me. The book was The Alchemist. I couldn't read or speak English that well at the time, and when I read the book, I couldn't really relate. Santiago, the main character of this book, was a traveler, a shepherd who was following a dream to find his treasure, and I was still stuck in high school in Egypt. There was this moment in the book where Santiago got scammed. All his life saving was taken away from him, and he was standing in the marketplace, and he asked himself a question. Am I gonna look at myself as a victim or an adventurer on an adventure? And he chose the latter. And this is what I will choose. Thanks, Amr. Coming up in the next episodes of Tribal.
You'll love what he's doing.
Are you tired of living alone?
To look at individual profiles